Hey, what's going on, crypto people?
Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is a digital asset space. Good afternoon. Happy Monday to you. Well, the market looks like it. I think the market is down just a teeny bit. Shout out to DIY investing. If you guys haven't followed him, I would, I don't know. I would look into that and see. He kind of called this market going down today, later, especially later on today and tomorrow as well. But yeah, a lot of red, a lot of red, a lot of red, a lot of red, a lot of red. He called it in his Discord. So interesting time. I hope you guys had a chance if you're in a position to buy the dip as well. I'm going to share a little bit about. So I want to follow up on my whole Jim Rickards theory, if you will. I do still find it very, very, very fascinating. Like I said in my last couple of videos. Um, how Jim Rickards has a lot to say about digital assets uh, and Bitcoin, uh, but in an intimate conversation, he could speak about gold, he could speak about Bitcoin, all in the same round table, all with the same people. But when XRP was mentioned, yeah, not a peep. And I'm going to share with you how Jim Rickards, he doesn't mind sharing his views. You can talk about that a little bit. Twitter has some interesting stuff going on there as well. I do think interesting, fascinating debates or discussions going around about the X1 Visa card. I'm not sure why there's such a debate about whether or not that symbol is related to XRP or not. I'm not sure if it matters, if it is or not. We all know that, the Visa acquired Earthport. Earthport was Ripple partner, is a Ripple partner, however you want to look at that. That is there. We're talking payments. Uh, I don't know. Do you think Visa might want to be associated with, take advantage of the technology of the leading payments fintech in terms of distributed ledger technology, the new technology for payments? I don't know. I guess you'll have to make your own decision about that. For me, it just makes sense. So whether that symbol is an XR related to XRP or not, it doesn't matter for me, because in the end, the champ is here, and that is XRP. But the X1 Visa card, wow, what a great idea. I love it. Absolutely do love it. I'm going to share that with you guys as well. Guys, like I said, this definitely falls in line with what I've been saying about us moving from a debt-based society to an asset-based society. I believe that is, in fact, where we're going. So we're going to talk about that, a little bit about that as well. So guys, listen, this is your XRP Ripple Daily News, and I would be lying to you almost if I said it was going to be in around 0 to 10 minutes. So let's get into it. I want to share something from Jim Rickards on the show London Real. And the interesting thing about this particular video, this is put out August the 27th. So who knows when it was actually, the interview actually took place, but August 27th of 2020, right? Jim Rickards is on London Real, right? Again, he's a big time geopolitical insider. This dude was asked upon way back when to help in some financial situations, right? He was asked, right, by administrations, not this current one, but by, administrations, right? Geopolitical insider. And I'm going to share this part with you because what he is pointing out here in this video is what he believed to be the solution that should have been used in 2018, but was not. Let's take a listen. And my point behind this is he has things to say. He has things to say. Whether or not he's right or not is quite a different conversation. My point is this geopolitical insider has things to say, has opinions to share, has thoughts on different ideas. Okay, listen to this one. This is a good one. I agree with him on this one too.
Great Depression, there was a solution on the table that they never pursued because of cronyism. See, now we're getting into the gangster side of it, the cronyism side. So what they should have done, by executive order, and the legal authority was there, they could have...
Again, this is about what they should have done in the 2008 crisis with the banks and the bailout of the banks and the whole TARP, all of that stuff, right? This is what he believes they should have done. It was on the table to do this particular thing, and they, the powers that be, decided not to do it.
Nationalized all the big banks. Not permanently, because I'm not in favor of socialism, but temporarily nationalize them.
And cleaned them up.
What you do is you wipe out the equity. First of all, you rip out the bad assets, and you put them over here in trust for the American people. So it might take 20 years to sell them, but whenever we sell them, that money goes to you, the taxpayers. Over here, we now have a clean bank. Equity, you're wiped out. Bondholders, how big's the hole in the balance sheet? 20% haircut, 40% haircut, whatever it takes. Preferred stock, you're probably wiped out. Put the losses where they should be. Put the losses on the people who deserve it, which are the stakeholders.
Put the losses where they deserve to be and where they should be, which is on the stakeholders of the banks. Of course, the banks themselves, the executive people at the bank themselves, the CEOs, of course, but on the stakeholders. Put it on the stakeholders, not on the American people, the taxpayers.
In the institution. So now you get rid of the bad assets, you wipe out the equity, you now IPO a clean bank to raise new equity, and you start over with Citibank and Goldman, all these guys private, with new owners and clean balance sheets, and we can get the economy moving again.
Okay.
That is not what happened. What did they do? They took the TARP money. By the way, TARP was the greatest bait and switch in history, because Hank Paulson, our Secretary of the Treasury, went to the Congress and said, I want this money so I can buy the bad assets from the banks. I want to strip out the bad assets. It's not what he did. He took the money and gave it to the banks as capital, and they kept the bad assets, which meant that when they recovered, the bankers got the profits, not the people. So this was cronyism at its worst. Nobody went to jail. None of the big banks failed, other than Bear Stearns.
Remember that word cronyism. I'm going to share a tweet from someone who mentioned something, but remember that word cronyism.
Right. So the big banks didn't
He was
fail.
ex-banker. Was he ex?
Sorry?
Paulson was ex-banker, right?
Goldman.
Yeah, Goldman.
Yeah, so they bailed out their buddies. All these guys kept their jobs. They kept their phony baloney jobs. They got their $1 million bonuses. Their stock price came back. When things recovered, the profit didn't go to the taxpayers where it should have. It went to the banks. Everything about this was corrupt. But they could have done this nationalized, clean up, re-IPO, privatize, and kind of move on with a clean bank.
Okay, so that was the other option.
That was the other option. It was not done.
Again, this is London Real. I definitely encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel. He does have a website as well that you can check out. I believe it to be londonreal.com. He brings on some very, very influential thought makers, if you will, and brings them on the show and talks. Really, really great channel that he has now, website, because I think he does the majority of his broadcasting now on his site since he got into that big controversial issue with the Ike guy, David Ike, I-C-K-E, I believe. But my point to this is, listen, this Jim Rickards guy, he has things to say. He's sought out on, on gold. He's on the major, because he's a gold bug, right? And so he's written crazy amount of books, right? What, 4 to 6 different books. Currency Wars is one of them, right? One of these sought out speakers in terms of, what's your thoughts on this and this and all these different kind of things, right? Just keep that in mind. Let's watch another video. Jim Rickards. Now this video here, it's again, they're calling it the Modern Wall Street Roundtable, live at Delmonico's, which is in the heart of the financial district. And it says featuring Jim Rickards, even though he's got some other prominent guys. There's actually 2 guys there on the left you'll get to see. Then there's the lady in the middle who's acting as the moderator. Then there's Jim Rickards, and then there's the guy off Jim Rickards' side there, okay? So I'm going to go to a couple of points in this video, but I want you to really, really think about it. First of all, the beginning of the video, he has something to say. So let's share it from the beginning of the video because they're talking about gold. I just want to point something out.
With gold, but given the lack in volatility and success in positions, it's given it a bad rap.
Forgive me here. I don't know why this
Well, we have
Wi-Fi.
gathered the finest panel to sort it all out for us. So I'd like to introduce you. And guys, I have to say, I am surprised we pulled this off, having lunch at Delmonico's, the most iconic restaurant here right in the financial district. Let's get it going. We have Douglas Borthwick, currency expert, Stephen Sarge Guilfoyle of Sarge 986 and my co-host on Street Smarts. Of course, we all know Jim Rickards. He is the editor of Strategic Intelligence. And Dave Williams, the ultimate gold guy of Strategic Gold. Gentlemen, nice to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Our pleasure to be here.
All right, so technically speaking, gold has been in a downtrend since May of 2018. It hit a recent low of 1167.10, and it seems to be consolidating around 1200. So are we going to retest the lows, or do we have the low in and we're going to move higher?
Well, the thing about analyzing gold values is you're right, it is down.
Okay. First of all, you see how everyone looked at Jim? You see everyone looked at Jim to lead them in conversation? Okay, just want to make a note of that.
Since earlier this year. But I think you need to widen the aperture a little bit, just take a longer perspective. And I think investors in general, their attention spans are way too short. You know, they buy something on Monday, it goes down on Tuesday, they're like, oh, that was idiotic. Well, no, it might be going up on Wednesday. You just need to, again, take a little longer perspective. Now, from 1999
Come on.
to 2011, we had one of the greatest bull markets in history in gold. It went up 750%. From 2011 to 2015, we had an intense bear market in gold. It went down 50%. And that's not unusual in commodities. They don't go to the moon without some kind of significant reversal, and that's what we had. It looks like there's an interim low in December 2015.
Okay, now, so I'm going to stop it there.
Which was interesting that
again, he has something to say about gold. Gold was the first topic to bring up, kind of. You see how he's pointing back to days. You see how he's referencing in history, right? So the dude has, he's very knowledgeable, right? And he has a vault of information inside that brain of his, okay? A vault of information. So let me try and play another part of this. Forgive me again for the terrible Wi-Fi going on right now in my home. Let's go right here. The discussion of Bitcoin and digital asset comes up.
Starts to look at the dollar as being a weapon.
Does that create an opportunity for the Bitcoin crowd or the crypto crowd?
I think crypto is completely irrelevant to all of this because
I don't know why this is messing up now.
I think that the holders of crypto or the holders of Bitcoin really have very little understanding of what's going on in a macro environment.
It played fine.
They're buying it because they see that's the future for a technology, as opposed to folks buying and selling dollars, buying and selling gold, do that because they see this the future of macroeconomics. And I think they're both very, very separate issues.
Do either one of you have an opinion on Bitcoin?
Any one of you have an opinion on Bitcoin? The guy asked, sitting next to the lady.
Because a lot of the younger crowd, not Bitcoin, but crypto in general, a lot of the younger crowd sees that as a replacement for.
I just don't understand it. I played this thing 3 or 4 times, no issue. As soon as I get on the freaking
Gold.
Guilty.
I don't know that. I think it's hard to say crypto in
Now here he has something to say about digital assets and BTC.
general, other than the technology of the digital distributed ledger, but there are. Last time I looked, 1,600 separate cryptocurrencies listed on major exchanges, and some of them are tiny, and some of them are.
Oh my gosh! I apologize, guys.
Frauds, no doubt about it, and Bitcoin's the biggest. Bitcoin has no use case.
Bitcoin has no use case. Again, this is not about whether or not he's right or wrong about
other than tax evaders, terrorists, and worse.
I see that.
Yeah, and it's
right. So this is not about whether he's right or wrong, but the fact that he does have an opinion and he does speak up, right, about Bitcoin.
so it'll get to $200 a coin, which is kind of a residual criminal value.
Oh man, let me go to the most important part here. Okay. I don't know why I keep spinning like that. Let me do this. No, I can't do that. I can't come off Wi-Fi there. But I'm going to go to the most important part where the mention of Ripple, the company, and XRP is brought up, and share that with you guys. Let's go.
With Bitcoin, you pay $50 for a $2 cup of coffee, a $50 transaction fee.
You don't know what it's going to cost you in 10 minutes.
That's exactly right.
There are some cryptos that are working with regulators and are working with banks.
I agree.
Ripple would be an example.
Ripple would be an
XRP.
example, right.
Now, this is and I can imagine in the next 5 years, instead of us doing sterling against the dollar or sterling against yen and doing these kinds of transactions, we'll do sterling versus Ripple. And the reason being, dollar right now is a 2-day settlement. With something like Ripple, you could do settlement in seconds. And I think that there's a future there where the guy that's trading spot FX today will be trading spot FX against Ripple in the future, in the next 2 or 3 years. So I think that Ripple has a great future because it's right now supported by all the banks and by all the regulators.
And it has an elastic monetary base, right?
So
Well,
if we take that and you go to the blockchain ledger, if you take that concept that you're discussing, I have no problem with it. I agree with it. But you're talking about money. You're talking about transaction, a medium of exchange. There has to be something behind it, and that's where I'm going to pull this conversation back to gold. There has to be some sort of reserve asset. The problem with fiat currencies right now is that they can print as much as they want, digitally or whatever. It's not tied to anything, and so as a result, the value of the money can be negated. It can be destroyed over time.
Okay. And so not a peep. And I just want to point this out. Forgive me, guys. I don't know why I'm having some issues. When I'm using Zoom and playing videos, or it's probably just my Wi-Fi overall. But my point in this roundtable discussion is when you watch their whole video, you'll hear them talking about finances, Rickards up and talking. You hear them bring up gold, Ripple's, Rickards is up and talking, right? You hear him bring up XRP and Ripple, and not a peep, not a word. And you obviously know, because he mentioned the fact that there's, back then in 2018, obviously, that's why they were calling it Ripple. Hopefully that's why they were calling it Ripple instead of XRP, that it was 1,000 currency. He knows about that. He's on a podcast in 2018 as well, talking about Stellar Lumen and the fact that they were doing a test with IBM, a pilot program, if you will, with IBM. In this conversation here, yet, not a word, not a peep about XRP, something that's been around since at least 2012, right? For me, I find that to be very, very, he's just kind of sitting there. He did, just not a peep. And again, we've all can kind of come to a conclusion. He doesn't mind sharing, right? His opinion. He said Bitcoin should be around $200, and he actually said in this interview, in this roundtable as well, that the idea of Bitcoin going to 6,000 was ridiculous. So my point is not whether he's right or wrong about a thing. My point is he always has something to say about a thing, and he had nothing to say when XRP was brought into the discussion. And this guy here to the left, which I believe his name is Botsworth, something like that, brought it into the discussion, right? And you can see the other guy on the other side next to Jim knows about Ripple and XRP. So my point is that this guy here knows about it, two from the right of the lady and two to the left of the lady know about it. Surely Jim Rickards, the insider, knows about it, right? But not a peep. And you got to ask yourself, why do you think that is? And I may be reading into it, but I personally believe that there has been a very, 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 very conscious and concentrated effort to not mention XRP. I truly, truly believe it. I just heard a video earlier today. A guy was told by his friend that his friend is in the banking spot. He's in there. He's in the space. He asked another banker, what's this thing about Ripple and this XRP and what is it doing to Swift? Yep, that is in fact what's going to be happening in terms of replacing Swift, if you will. But I'm under an NDA and I can't talk about it. I'm in an NDA and I can't talk about it. DAI shared that a couple of days ago in his video. Right? Why? I get the whole NDAs and I get that, let's not spread our technology to our competitors thing, but why not the mention of XRP in conversation? Interesting to me. All right, guys, let's go on to the next thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Something about Algorand, it just has me very, very curious. It really, really does. It makes me want to up my position in Algo. Really, really do. I know that they're working with USDC as well. Circle is a stable coin from from Circle, which is the USDC. Something's got me thinking more and more about what they're going on. There's Jim Rickards there again. This was a short little minute, but again, not a peep. Just not a peep. Let me see something here. Hold on.
Exactly. Look, there are some cryptos that are working with regulators and are working with.
Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter. I thought maybe it was something else.
I agree.
Ripple would be an example.
Ripple would be an
XRP.
example, right?
Now this is
Terrible Wi-Fi. All right, so the next thing I want to share with you guys is this is a fascinating tweet and thread. It's a great question that Lido II asks here. Functional programmer, in particular interested in XRP, IDEA, ILP, ODL, Spring ecosystem. Okay, let me follow Lido II here. Right? And who thinks $2 trillion is laundered without central banks knowing? Now, I'm not going to go into the article, but I do want to point out the thread here. And what, I don't know if that's a he or she there. The big bank factors in the government fines as part of the business model. The big banks factor in the government's fines as part of the business model. Then everyone gets a slice. And so she was asking a question here, right? This is the question. Did the central banks know about this? Right? I mean, the article goes into just kind of this whole big scam. JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank involved in this, laundered $2 trillion, laundered, right? They always want to talk about Bitcoin, just like Rickards said in that video. It's the bad guys who are using the Bitcoin. This is USD right here, $2 trillion worth, right? So let me see. What did I want to share with you? She says here, he or she, the big banks factor in the government fines as part of the business model. Then everyone gets a slice, except the peasants and serfs. The big banks are at the heart of crony capitalism. Remember, I told you to remember the crony capitalism? This is what Jim Rickards spoke about when he said what actually happened in 2008 with the TARP and the whole thing. Call it cronies, right? Remember he's talking about the crony? That's what he's talking about there, crony capitalism. They work with the oligarchs, pay the govs their bribe, and skim billions. The executives get millions in bonuses. Now look, I don't know if governments were involved in the bribe. I don't know about the skims of billions, but I do know that the executives got their millions in this 2008 thing, right? Because Paulson he gave the money directly to the banks. They didn't buy up the assets. They kept it for themselves. And then when recovery time happened with the stocks, the banks and the stakeholders got all the money. We paid for the bailout. This is my point to this. This is why we must move to the XRPL ledger as the base layer, the IOP for the interoperability, and Flare networks for DeFi. Then code is law. A decentralized payment and derivative system where there is no counterparty who can put in the fix. No counterparty who can fix the system, in my opinion. I'm saying put in the fix. A financial system of the people, by the people, and for the people. I like where your head is, my friend Lido II. I like where your head is. And then again, this is just talk about the X1 coin, and Sam was going back and forth with Stuart XRP, Sam I am, Green Eggs and Ham on Twitter about the X. And again, for me, I'm not sure if it matters. I mean, did Ripple partner with Earthport or not? Did Visa buy Earthport or not? Right? Is the fintech, is the blockchain infrastructure company out of San Francisco, California, named Ripple? Are they the lead in payments, in cross-border payments especially? Zoe Cruz believes so. This X1 card, though, I love the idea and the concept behind it. There will be a link in the description of this video for this, and I believe it gives you, if you use my link, it gives you 4x in bonus points, something like that. I think it's this thing here for friends you invite, right? And I think each of us gets 4x. I used a channel member, a big time community channel member who sent it to me, and I used it. But the idea behind this is based upon your income. It's based upon your income, kind of the rate you get or whether or not you'll get approved and the rate that you get, right? 12 to 19% is the rate on the card. It's based upon your income. And just like my friend Deep Mind shared with me, right? Income is an asset. Income is an asset. And so we're moving, I firmly, strongly believe we are moving from this debt-based society to an asset-based society, right? Right? I'd rather have what it is that I do and how I'm able to move based upon how I'm producing, right? Income is a form of production, if you will, right? And you can change the amount of income that you have, right? You can go out and, right, instead of just merely having income in terms of trading your time for dollars, you can go out and have a side hustle or a cash flow business and increase your income, not based upon whether or not the 3 credit bureaus decide to factor in and say something is a good thing. Oh, yeah. So you've been in payments on time for this period of time. Oh, your debt to usage is this or that. No. Based upon your income, which is something that you have more control over. 3% debt, the rate, what's your usage rate needs to be below 7, needs to be below 10, needs to be below 2. Which one is it? They change it around every single time, and you're playing this credit score game. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why they're changing the credit score and how they calculate that as well. So, and that's just where I believe we're going, to this asset-based society. So guys, make sure you grab yourself, get on the wait list for this X1 card based upon your income, things that you can control, and you don't have to play these games with these credit bureaus. I think it's a genius idea. X is cool. It looks great. But in the end, getting into the mindset of assets, asset accumulation, having assets like digital assets is the name of the game. And yes, your income is an asset. And so, if it's not where your income is not where it needs to be, improve it. Just improve it. Get yourself a cash flow business. All right, guys, listen. I think I'm going to wrap up there with that. Just as a nice message and warning from XRP Darren. Shout out to XRP Darren on YouTube. Darren Moore on YouTube. Great channel. Don't connect your MetaMask wallet to links you randomly click on YouTube or Twitter. There are a lot of scams going on, and the newest one, Yield Farming Coin website, that asks you to connect your wallet. The site is a mirror of the real site. And they will steal everything you have. I noticed that's happened already to at least 3 people that I read on Twitter, completely drained. Now, 2 out of the 3 didn't have hardly anything on there, less than $100 or something on there. But one guy did have a significant amount, and it was all gone. It was in ETH, and it was all gone. So guys, be careful out there. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap up this video like I do all of my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.